As many people in Africa currently transcend from the local houses that have been occupying to the modern permanent houses, skyscrapers, copying the lifestyle of other continents, other races and other regions in the world, Uganda still has a traditional community that still lives in what we call the African hut. And now the African huts in Africa, and particularly Uganda, are in different formats. When you go to the National Museum that is in Kampala, you've been able to see the difference between the different types of houses. But also when you go deep in deeper villages like Acholiland, you come to realize that there are very many other different types of houses in Acholiland. There are those that are made with poles outside. There are those that are made with poles inside, still supporting the roof, all serving the same function. But also, you have to have it in mind that the same type of grass-like houses have different other purposes. Now, I want to show you the first house and its type and its purpose. This is an African hut of the Acholi people. The Acholi people are people found in the northern part of the country, and just as you look at it, this is one of the types. It is roofed using grass, and when you get down, around it is what we call the poles that support the roof. Now, for this particular house, the poles are outside. They don't have the inside middle pole. And because of that fact, these poles serve a purpose. And I would like to ask one of my comrades to tell us the reason why these poles are put there. Yes, how are you?
Thank you. Yes.
I have seen this African hut, and actually it happens to be in your neighborhood, within home. Yes. Can you tell us why they build some of these houses with these poles?
Yeah, one of the reasons is to support the roof.
Okay, without it shaking in case of wind?
Yes,
okay.
To support it because it doesn't have the middle pole.
Okay.
So the second one is also it helps in domestic kind of rearing, keeping the goats around. That is why you see the goats are tied around. Yeah. So mostly it helps even the goats to stay when there's rain. We tie them around.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, that is so much beautiful. So just as you're looking at it, by the side, just by our left-hand side, these are goats that are tied down here at the pole of the African house. The major purpose, as he has told you, is to keep these goats very safe. Remember that in African society, we have a setup whereby the wild animals nearby, there are game parks that are not greatly protected. And because of that particular reason, most of the wild animals used to attack and come out to attack these other home-kept domestic animals like goats, like sheep. Now, being an African man, most of the African men used to have this belief that they can defend the animals even in the late hours of the night. And the only way they can get a communication that an enemy has entered the compound is by tying a goat or any other form of animal near the house. And in case of any alarm from these goats, they would come out to chase away either the wild dogs, to chase away either the wild elephants, to chase away either the leopards, hyenas, and other animals that are always prey to these particular animals. So actually, this is an African goat, this is an African pole in an African house. I hope you enjoy learning part 1 of how the Acholi people do their African grass hut house. Here you have to bend in and enter. And remember that at a certain point, the president emeritus, that is Idi Amin Dada, once did such a particular thing because he wanted the whites to honor him. So he decided to have a grass hut house, and whoever could enter in had to kneel down in bid to enter. Now I would like actually to ask one of our people here who is guiding us today, as Mr. Farouk, to tell us about this inside part of the hut. Yes, what do you have to tell us about this inside part? Because we already shared how the outside part of this hut looks like.
Yeah, thank you. The way you see this, the inner side of this hut, is that it has a lot of poles.
Okay.
When you compare with the different type of huts, okay. It has a lot of poles.
This is the reeds. The reeds.
Yeah, the reeds. Yeah.
Okay.
These reeds are there to support the what?
The outside poles.
The outside poles. Okay. And it has these rings around.
Okay.
To support these reeds.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are these reeds made with? What are they tied with it? Is that sisal? Is it any other type of fiber? Or it is gois? What do they use for supporting, for tying?
Mostly they use these local kind of trees. Yeah, fibers for trees, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, to tie them around.
Wow, that is so much beautiful. So to all the viewers who are watching right now, we're telling you that this is the first type of hut. We took you outside it and we showed you how the veranda looks like. It has poles. But now the biggest other part of it is the fact that inside, when you get to the inside, this is the real picture of how the African hut looks like. Now it has a lot of reeds, just as he has said, but it has also the rings that tie the reeds together. At the same time, he has given us the impression that they use what they call the African type of fiber, yes, to tie it. And also, we should not forget the fact that as you look at the screen of your television, this particular type of hut does not have what we call the middle pole that comes from the tip of the roof. It is not there. Just as you look at it, I would love the camera to zoom direct to the roof, the middle part. Yes, there is no pole. Yes, that that holds the house. As we'll be seeing in other forthcoming types of houses. This is the real picture of the African hut. Now, when you come and look at the wall is not cemented. There's no cement on this wall. There's no lime on this wall. This wall is actually made of what we call the real African clay. Just as you look at it, yes, you can have a piece. Most times, this African clay is mixed with cow dung to give it color and to give it what we call the elasticity. Yes, they always mix it with some cow dung. But at the same time, others just pick it from the anthill and decide to smear it, plaster it. Are you getting it? Are we on the same page? Yes, that is the African wall of the African glassite house. Now, when you look at the floor, this is purely what we call cow dung. When you sit, you really feel and have a feel of what we call the African touch. This is what we call the cow dung. For most of you who have been in Kampala and you're used to sitting in nice houses or that have cement, that have tiles, that have woolen carpets, that have plastic carpets, this is what we call the African floor. It's made out of, they get maram, they heat it hard, mixture with water, mixed with water, and at a certain point what happens when it hardens, they start smearing it slowly with cow dung to form this kind of floor. Now, we are so much obliged that in our patrol to understand the African look, the African house, we find here the African grinding stone. Now, one unique thing about the Acholi culture is the fact that the grinding stone is actually raised, since this one is a small piece, it's actually raised on a platform that is built out of what we call bricks and clay. They decided to put it up here, and according to the locals, the major type of, not the major type, according to the locals, the major purpose of these is to grind simple items. And I would like to give you examples. Like now, when food is being cooked, this can be used to grind what we call curry powder for you, yes, wherever you are, the local curry powder. At the same time, it can be used for grinding or crushing the local salt. You know, in Uganda we have different particular areas where we mine salt from, and they bring it from the lake in a hard form. So they put it here with a small stone and they grind it. That is the African touch. But at the same time, if you have children at home and you are someone who consumes what we call a lot of millet flour, because in Africa we believe in millet, and in Uganda in particular, there are tribes that can never live a life without millet. They put millet here and they grind it, soften it into the flour, and it's picked from here where they always put a sack. So the sack will be a collection point. As they grind, yes, the product keeps falling down. And from here, they can pick it and put in a cup, and they take it straight to the saucepan and convert it into porridge for the family to enjoy. Now, for most of you who are seeing what is right on our right hand side, this is what we call the cooking area for the African culture, the cooking area for the African tribes. This is actually how the kitchen setup looks like, and I would like to give you a chance to know what it's made of. In most cases in African sector, in most cases in African culture, these people, we the Africans, the Acholis in particular where we are, use 3 stones for cooking. And these stones give you a picture of what it means. Now the saucepan is actually put in the middle here, in case of anything. The saucepan is put in the middle. And why do they use 3 stones? It's believed that it's only 3 stones that can give a saucepan greater stability. Yes, so the saucepan in most cases sits on top. And what happens is the firewood, just as you look at it, is put by the side. And today I'm taking you through how the Africans cook. Yes, this is what happens. And in most cases, when there's a problem, when the fire cannot light, this is what they do. This is what our mothers in Africa do. They blow. But it's not an easy task. As you look at it, there's a lot of ash flying up and down. At the same time, there's a lot of smoke coming out. It's not like the gas that you use wherever you use it. It's a big process. This is what the process our mothers go through to bring the food that the African children eat, to bring the food that the African men, when they come back from hunting, just eat and enjoy. I wish some of you could come and have a sample of this. I'm even forced to put my microphone down in bid to do what the African women do. Wow, my fire is now lighting. Yes, this is how food is made in Africa. And this is the reason why we celebrate Africa a lot. It's something unique. Now, you see, when that fire starts lighting like that, you can cook anything. You can put anything here. You can cook the wild rat. Yes, as we had showed you in other things before. You can cook the wild rat, you can roast the wild rat. At the same time, you can cook modern food like the food that you're seeing right at this saucepan. You can get this food and you warm it up. When it has been put like that, you can now get up and say, you are in a kitchen and you are doing something. Yes, that is so much beautiful. I would like to give you another tip of some of the things that are found in the kitchen setup. What is found in the African kitchen setup is the African mingling stick. How many of you have gotten a chance to look at this? As very many of you spend a lot of time, yes, having a lot of those organized stoves, those organized other things, we use what we call the African mingling stick. And I can tell you, it's one reason why the African women in those early years used not to fight with their men, because the tools that they have, if an African woman bangs you with this mingling stick, I can tell you, you will just run mad direct. Just have a look at it. Yes, this is the African mingling stick, all the way from the northern part of the country. That's what we had for you in the kitchen setup, and we will keep you posted on other things, and we would love to take you still to another type of house. Yes. So we are here now trying to show you and unveil to you what we call the second type of the African hut. Yes, still the major things about it is they all have similarities. The number one similarity is the fact that they share what we call the building materials. They stay grass, and at the same time we have a look at what we call the setup of the door. The doors are always metallic, just as you look at it, and at the same time what happens is they have the same type of related clay. The only difference is this African hut doesn't have poles. Now they just carry the roof on top. The roof is made actually down, and they just carry the roof to the top. The other ones, the roof is made from up. The way you see a modern house being built, people go up and they do the timbering. They do the timber, they join the timber from the upper part of the house. Here, the roof is made from down, and they just carry it up and they balance it well, and it stays up there. This is synonymously known for small houses that can easily be handled. Are you getting the picture? Are you getting everything? That is the African hut. And now you look at her at the sideways. She's trying to design, yes, put the beauty onto the house. And how does she do it? She makes this other paint out of the ash. Yes, that is the difference. She makes this paint out of the ash. Now, in most cases, this type of houses cannot be used for keeping goats, keeping local animals like sheep, domestic animals. This type of houses only accommodate, for example, maybe if you have a kitchen setup, and if it's for a kitchen, and maybe for storing small things. This is the second type of the African hut. Now, when you look at the veranda, most of these type of houses lack the veranda. They actually make them brief, because the poles are supposed to sit on the veranda, but because they make the roof without the poles supporting it by the side, what they do is they deny it the veranda. That is the look of it, because even without the veranda, the house looks beautiful. That is the look of the African hut.
Lo, 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 lo. katunga, ay katunga, mwanga nyune katunga, iguru toy katunga, ay katunga, mwanga nyune katunga, ingino katunga, ay katunga, mwanga nyune katunga, imatenga katunga, papirikoli katunga, akotenga nyune katunga, isolo tai katunga, ay katunga, mwanga nyune katunga, ikalisa katunga, ay katunga, mwanga nyune katunga, kumitaune katunga, ay katunga, mwanga nyune katunga, bukedi ay katunga, iganga mbali katunga, diano siteso kampala. Emalata Yesu papa, emalata Yesu, nara iroko ijariyo kwetunga. Lolo itelekoni teso, lolo itelekoni, abe ikoni da lolo ikatunga. Ajala kisangolo pa teker, ajala kisangolo pa, aibu maina ikoto kweteso. Ajala kisepiti na iteso, ajala kisepiti na.